Okay, hello, and I'm back. So yes, I'm continuing on my journey. I am now post-op. Today's date is February 17th, 2016, and I am 7 days post-op. My surgery was on the 10th. Um, but I was looking back at the videos, and I feel like I've kind of jumped over a lot. Like I went from waiting to be approved by the dietitian to boom, I'm 2 days post pre-op. But I want to kind of backtrack to when I um, was, waiting to be approved by the dietitian, and then what happened leading up, and then what happened on my surgery day. Um, so overall, I feel pretty good at this point. But I've been meaning to make this video, but just been caught up doing other things, and you know, kind of getting my life in order as soon as I'm able to, like paying bills and getting everything that I could in order while I had the energy to do so. So now I'm just getting back to this. But anyway, so the video before last, I had mentioned that I was waiting for the dietitian to approve me. I had to go back because she didn't approve me initially. And yeah, so she ended up approving me, clearly. And then the next step was to meet, and I don't remember the exact date of that, but the next step was to meet with, I think it was 2 weeks later, so you can do the math, but I was set up to meet with a surgeon. So she was the last thing holding me back from surgery. And then I set up the appointment with the surgeon and that was February 1st is when I met him. And it was really quick. I mean, I kind of expected him to ask me more questions. I don't know. Maybe he was aware that I was knowledgeable if I was at this point in this, in the scheme of things. But it was very brief, and they did a quick evaluation about previous medical history, previous surgeries, and just to make sure that I had a good understanding of what it is I'm about to do to myself, or wanting to have done with the gastric sleeve. But that went well, and he's like, okay, you want to set the surgery date? And I was kind of taken back. I was like, okay, yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. I knew this was coming. He's like, how about this Wednesday? But for me, I hadn't told my job yet. I knew I was approved, but I hadn't told my job. So I was like, even for me mentally to be able to process everything, I said, you know what, can we do anything later? And he's like, well, how about not this Wednesday, but next Wednesday? And I was like, okay, I can handle that. I didn't say this to him, but I'm thinking, okay, I'll be able to process that and give my job somewhat notice of notice, which turned out to be on February 10th was the date that we agreed on. So yeah, that was it. They went through, I met a couple other people that day, like pre-surgery. They went in and, gave me a body scrub that they said I'm going to have to use the night before, kind of give me my instructions. And this was right after meeting with the doctor, went straight to these pre-op appointment where they just kind of let you know what you need to do or be prepared. But they never gave me a time for surgery. So they gave me, the rundown. No, I can have apple juice, I think up to 2 hours before, water, nothing red that could look like blood and, look like I'm bleeding and not. But so they just said midnight the night before, no food, and from midnight up until surgery the night before, and then but I could drink up until 2 hours before. So yeah, so I went through that. That was all good, but they still never gave me a time for the surgery, and they said they don't give the time until the night before. So I went back to work. I mean, immediately left the hospital, went to my job, and gave them my notice. Told them, hey, listen, I'm giving you within an hour from the doctor giving me this date. This is the time I'm going to need off, which I've taken 3 weeks off, which I think is maybe a little more than I probably need, but I'm going to take every bit of that 3 weeks and let my body heal and enjoy just cuddling with my son and healing. So yeah. So at that point, I went back to work, and I continued working up until the 9th. And the 9th I worked up until midnight on the 9th. But earlier that day, they did call me, and they told me that my appointment, I needed to be at the hospital at 8:30. It's like something flying around. But anyways, so I needed to be at the hospital at 8:30. And so that was it. I took my son to school. I made sure I set up transportation for him to be picked up. And my mom and I went to the hospital on the 10th. So we checked in. It was 8:30. They gave us the rundown, you know, how it's going to go, you know, who's going to be back there, that no children were allowed under 12 in the surgical area. And that was it. So I waited in the waiting room. They let me know that my surgery was going to be at 10:38. So we were in the waiting room probably about 45 minutes. And then they took me back. And I said, took me back into one of the pre-surgery rooms. I don't know, the intake room where they get you hooked up on your IV. They started giving me different medications. I think there's no telling what medication they gave me. But the doctor came in, anesthesiologist came in. I put on my gown and everything. And then that was it. I mean, within, like they said, the time frame. And I think with UNC, where I had my procedure done, is a well-oiled machine. Like, my doctor, Timothy Farrell, is amazing. And he's been doing gastric bypass, was what he specialized in. He's been doing that since like 1999. He actually corrects the botched surgeries that people may have, bariatric surgeries or transition surgeries like gastric sleeve to gastric bypass. So the man, I mean, if anybody could be doing this for me, I knew I was in safe hands, and this is the surgeon I wanted. And it was fabulous. Everything went perfect. So all I know is they gave me the medication. I started chilling out. The last thing, they wheeled me back towards surgery, and I remember them putting the mask over me, and I was nervous. Like, they put the mask over your face. And I remember just kind of fighting it a little bit, and then next thing I know, I was gone. I mean, that's it. I woke up, and I was being wheeled to my room, and I felt, you know, I was drugged. But I didn't have a lot of pain. I had no gas pain. But I mean, they were wonderful. Like, the care at UNC that I had, anything I needed, they were right there. The nurses were right there. It was fabulous, like my whole experience. So I think just with the little medical background that I have, I knew that I needed to be up and moving. I didn't want to push myself too much, but by the next day, I was up walking around, because I'm not trying to get blood clots. I'm not trying to, you know, have any issues going with my body. I wanted to know that my body was right. So I didn't push myself too much, but I was able to at least give myself a sink bath by the time I left, and walk around like the unit a couple times. And the doctors came in, they did some blood work, everything looked good. And by the 11th, I was discharged. And I felt like that was okay. I didn't feel like that was too soon or anything. They gave me plenty of pain medicine, oxycodone, which has been spectacular. It's really helped in, like, I really have not had severe pain. I mean my stomach was removed, 3/4 of my stomach was removed, but still I expected a lot more pain than I did. And I heard about all the gas pains. I didn't have any of that, thank God. So overall, it's been a good experience. My biggest thing is just from this point on, taking my time, following the diet, the liquids. You go clear liquids and full liquids. And then today was my 7th day post-op, so I was able to kind of maybe try to have something pureed. So I went with a little baby food and maybe pushed it on the cottage cheese, a couple bites of cottage cheese, like one little bite, and that was too much. Like, I was like, oh, okay, well, I'm going to pay attention to my body. I think that's a big part of this. You have to pay attention to your body. And you'll go to sleep, you'll wake up, you'll feel a healing inside you, a little bit more. You feel that, like, dull ache is beginning to go away, and it's amazing. The human body is amazing. So I've just been able to do I've been trying to do my best to help my body heal, getting the rest, making sure I'm getting the fluid so I'm not dehydrated, and end up back with an IV in my arm in the hospital. Like, you hear all these stories. I'm just trying to prevent all that. Um, but so far, I am extremely pleased. I'm 10 days post-op, or 7 days post-op, and I'm down 10 pounds already. But I know once I start moving, it's coming off. It's just a matter of right now. Not gonna only do so much, but I went to AT&T, got my phone. I've been moving. I mean, I don't have as much endurance as I normally did because I'm a goer. I'm always on the go, go, go. But to be 7 days post-op, I feel like in no time I'll be healed up, and back to moving like I normally do. But I really can't wait to incorporate the exercise, because at this point you have 2 sips of water, 2 sips of protein. That's it. I mean, you really, it's not like where you can. I mean, and I remember coming out and still feeling hungry, but I think it was almost in my head, like your whole life. You're eating up until that point a certain amount of food, so in your mind you're saying, I'm hungry, I'm hungry. But then you take a sip of protein drink or sip of broth and you're full. So it's just a matter of letting your body and your mind catch up to what's going on inside of you, and just paying attention to that. And I see how people may, try to push that, and they injure themselves. Because if you're on a diet and you don't have this, and you say, hey, screw it, I'm gonna have a little snack, I'm gonna break it, I'm gonna bust my diet, and it's not gonna hurt me, and you do that and you go with that urge that you feel, then nothing happens. I mean, so you don't lose weight, and you do that with gastric sleeve and you could kill yourself. So you might have that urge because that addiction, that food, that not even addiction, but I mean your whole life you're eating so much amount of food, a certain amount of food, and then it's cut down to 2 sips of water, a couple sips of broth, and that's all you can fit in there. Yeah, your brain is saying, and your body too is probably saying, you need more. But at that point, you can't do that. You can't say, screw it, because then you kill yourself. So you really, and eventually after a couple of days, that eases up. It really eases up, and you begin to learn your new body, learn your stomach, learn what feels full. Like if it's a pressure, if it's a hiccup, or if it's a burp, that just, okay, that's enough. I need to stop here. But you'll learn that. And most of the time it's in like a not feeling so good kind of way, just a tightness, and you're like, ooh, let me not push this. And that's even if you're trying to drink water too fast. I noticed a couple times when I just wanted to gulp water, and you can't. You just gotta sip, sip, sip all day long, have something in your hand, protein drink, water. And I think this dark circle, that's dehydration. Overall, I've been taking vitamins since the day I came home. I document everything I take, every ounce of liquid that I'm taking in, and it's just not enough. You really, really have to be on it. And I think the past day or so, I've kind of let it get behind with not drinking as much fluid as I needed to. But yeah. So overall, things are going well. I feel very positive about all this. I feel happy about my decision. I give props to UNC Hospital for doing such an amazing, amazing job with me. Yeah, couldn't have been in better hands. And my family's been supportive. My mom's been right there. You gotta have a support network, especially through the surgery and afterwards. And my mom's a previous bariatric patient, so she already knows. She knows, she's right here with me with the lifestyle changes, and really a great support, with me and helping me with my son and everything. So I'm very happy about what's going to happen in the coming months, and yeah, and working towards this goal in my life of getting healthy, and getting my life in order, mind, body, spirit, and becoming, like I said, the woman that I know is inside of me. So here I am, post-op day 7, and I will keep you posted on my progress. And I look forward to any questions you might have, anything you want to ask. feel free to ask. And yeah, have a great night, and God bless. Bye.